Today we're moving forward with day 2 of navigating the spreadsheet. Our learning intentions include we are learning about spreadsheet navigation so we can understand how data is entered in a spreadsheet. We are learning about proper naming convention of cells so we can understand how to identify cells. And we will learn about 3 types of data so we can understand how Excel recognizes text, numbers, and formulas. You'll know you're successful if you can navigate to move from different locations in Excel, and you can identify the active cell, a range of cells, and the value of a cell. How to move around a spreadsheet. There are multiple ways to move around a spreadsheet. One of them is simply pointing and clicking. And so the nice thing about that is we're able to just point and click to on a cell and it will move our active cell around. We can also use the arrow keys on our keyboard to move around. The tab key will move to the cell to the right. So if we were in cell A5 and we pressed, we would jump over to B5. If we press tab again, it would move over to C5. If we press tab again, we would move over to D5. So tab is going to move to the next cell to the right. The enter key will have you move down a row. So if we press enter from A5, we would come down to A6. We're going to do a little practice, and while if we were in class, we would do this as a poll, we're just going to pause and allow you to figure out how well you did on the question. So if my current active cell is B2 and I press the tab key 2 times, tab, tab, what would be my new active cell? Would it be A, C2? Would it be B, D2? Would it be C, B3? Or would it be D, B4? Let me pause and you can answer the question in your head. If I press tab 1 time, I would be in cell C2. And if I press tab the second time, I would be in cell D2. And so the answer here is B, D2. My next question for you is, what is the value of my new cell? So in cell D2, what is the value? It is at A, 6,500, B, 9,000, C, 4,500, or D, 8,000. Again, let me pause and you can answer the question in your head. What is the value of my new active cell, D2? Find the value of the active cell by actually looking at what is the value inside of that cell. So inside cell D2 is the value 9,000. And therefore the answer to this question is 9,000. We had the answer of D2 for the first question and now 9,000 for the second question. Did you do good? There are 3 main types of values that can be entered into a cell. We can enter numbers, text, and formulas. Numbers, you will notice, are entered and they start on the right-hand side of the individual cell. So if we were actually doing any form of math problem, we would typically begin to line up all of our values in places. So place value. We have the ones column. we have the tens, and lastly, we have the hundreds. And this should not be new. This should be something very familiar to you that you have seen in math before. Typically, we draw a line, we put in our plus sign, and we do our math, and we say 3 plus 5 is 8, plus 5 gives us a value of 13. 2 plus 1 is 3, and 1 plus 0 is 1. And so the value is 133. If we did not line up our values, for example, we typed 123, and we typed 15, and we typed 5, we would not get an accurate depiction of adding up these values. We would get 8 and 7 and 2, and we would say, whoa, 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 this is not correct. And Excel is going to be no different than doing math on paper. Our values have to align, and therefore, when our values align, those values have to start on the right-hand side of our cell. We also can enter text. And so text is going to be from the left-hand side of the cell. Just like if we were reading a book, we read from left to right. So text enters from left to right. And lastly, we have formulas. Formulas are our calculations. They will always start with an equal sign. Equals 2 times B3. This formula is going to take the value of 2 times the value stored in cell B3. So if we come up to B3, we see the value of B3 is 123. What is 2 times 123? You could technically do the calculation. 123 times 2. Put our little multiplication sign over here. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. And 2 times 1 is 2. And our value is 246. So if we type equals 2 times B3, we're going to get a value of 246 that is going to end up inside this cell. It is going to act like a calculator. And we have formulas. Formulas will always start with an equal sign. Data can be entered into our cells in two places. One, we can click and type in the cell. The other place is up here, something called the formula bar. In the formula bar, you will see that you can click and you can type, you can edit, you can delete. And this is also a nice place for you to be able to make changes to the information in this cell. Quick question, which of the following can a cell contain? A, a number, B, a word, C, a formula, or D, all of these? A few slides ago, we learned that we can enter numbers, words, and formulas in cells. Therefore, the best answer is D, all of these. You are now going to open a Google form. That Google form is listed in the class announcements as well as in an email. You are going to answer all of the questions in the Google form, and then you are finished for the day. I'm sorry to have missed another class. I will return on Thursday.